Hello, YouTube world. How's everybody going tonight? I'm not going to actually do any vinyl tonight. I was planning on to it, but I don't yet have my turntable hooked up the way I wanted to make everything work right. I was kind of doing it a janky way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I will put the link in here. If I can figure out how to do this again. Let me copy that. Put this in here. Yeah, I just wanted to go live. I got myself a new studio. Can anybody hear me by any chance? Just to make sure this mic is actually working. If you can hear me, let me know. Hey, how's it going, Wendy? You got UP in the house. Colleen, Dean Stevenson, of course. Just wanted to say hello. Yeah, this is my new studio. I'm actually going to do a video of it because this room actually looked a whole lot different about a week and a half ago. Completely different. Actually, this was part of another room that I had sectioned off. I was really big into music for quite a bit after I got out of cars the first time, and I spent a lot of time at music festivals, concerts, you name it. And I had like a really cool retro music themed room. I didn't use it a lot. Hey, what's going on, Big Block 402? How you doing? Turbo Tom's in the house too. Rob's Rods and Streetcars. Hello, Rob. And so I decided that I didn't really use it. I wanted a usable space. I wanted to get like an actual studio. And so I did it. This is part of it, as you can see here. It's a nice little chill lounge. I did still keep some of my music stuff. These are old stereo consoles that I have restored with modern, but yet like hybrid vintage technology. Whole lot of fun. So I kind of took a break away from how busy I am always with cars. Yeah, I still worked on cars, the Chevelle a little bit, stuff at Jimmy's, but I was really focusing on trying to get my studio done. On the other side of the wall is another living room. Been working on that. This is in my basement. But yeah, what's going on in the world of YouTube? If anybody can, it looks a little dark, but it's all good. It is right now. It's dark. This is the midnight hour, so I'm keeping it dark. I do have lights, but I just don't have them on right now. Just lamps. It's the nighttime ambiance with the light glaring off my head into your face. Sorry about that. So what's everybody got going on tonight? I am actually going to turn this into another YouTube podcast room. I normally don't ever get into social issues or political things or our current state of being absolutely fucked in this country. So I'm actually at some point soon with a really good friend of mine that I grew up. I'm going to have a spinoff channel. Absolutely nothing to do with cars at all. It's just going to be what's going on in the world. And that's what those two chairs right there are for. And I'm going to get some nice, cool mics. And I'm going to be doing a podcast, which is going to be fun. And that'll be a whole separate channel. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Dean Stevenson says, Mrs. Ecstasy is holding me hostage in her Suzuki Grand Vitara, picked up from work. I forget you are a much different time zone. Big Block 402. I just got a saxophone to learn. I used to play a few instruments years ago. Always wanted to try the sax. You know what? I have always taught myself how to do things, and I've always learned how to do things. And I've absolutely been a music fan my whole life. I tried learning the guitar, all thumbs. Couldn't do it. I mean, I tried. Couldn't do it. Not at all. I understand it. I understand how it works. Just can't do it. Dean says only 13 hours a day. Gee, these Kiwi housewives are vicious. Sounds like you need to get another one in there, Dean. But yeah, so other than that, it's been quite busy lately. I did get the Chevelle done with fuel injection. Joe's Mopar Mess. What is the best car movie I haven't seen? Well, Joe, I don't know what car movies you haven't seen. But I can tell you right now, by far one of the best car movies of all time. It's not only about cars, it's about freedom. It's about America. It is about everything that made this country great. My opinion, Vanishing Point is a great one. I do like Bullet. I like Tulane Blacktop. That's a very eclectic movie, but it's awesome. American Graffiti is another good one. That's pretty good. The Cannonball Run movies. Hey, what's going on, Ari? How you doing? The Cannonball Run movies are awesome, and then there's also a real action movie called Cannonball that is with David Carradine, and he's got a Firebird, and the bad guy drives a Charger. It's absolutely hilarious in some ways because it's so cheesy, even though it's supposed to be an action movie. UP says Neptune Green. There's a whole lot of good car movies out there. A ton of good car movies out there. They did a remake to Vanishing Point. It was absolutely horrendous. They ruined the original concept of it. Big Block 402 says Deuce of Spades was pretty good for a low budget car movie. Yeah, kind of like Dirty Mary and Crazy Larry. That was low budget, you could tell, but it was still cool as shit. The original Gone in 60 Seconds and the remake too wasn't bad. And yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun. But yeah, so if anybody wants, hey, there's Jason. If anybody wants to come in, I'll post the link, StreamYard link. I'm not going to go super late tonight. I know I got started a lot later than I wanted to. This is normally a time where I wouldn't start one, but life got in the way, and I'd scheduled it, so I said, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So yeah, car movies are awesome. The car soundtracks are even cooler. Really, really cool. I'm big into classic vinyl and all that. Like I said, these are old stereo consoles already stored, and I like listening to them. There is some neat stuff out there. Junkers Clunkers, welcome, welcome, welcome. Actually, just texting a friend of mine right now to see if he's going to be seeing it. So what has everybody else been working on? So Colleen says, what do you think of the new monkey bike rules? You know what, Colleen? I missed that part. So I need to call John and find out. I honestly don't know. I spoke with him on the phone about something, but like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I need to find those out. If you could, put it in the comments and I'll see what's going on. Yeah, plowing. You know what, Junkers? So it's weird. We were in that major cold snap and we had snow and all that shit. But it was actually 57 degrees today, which is about, I don't know, 40 to 50 degrees higher than what it usually is this time of year. I'll take it. Bring on the global warming. Landon Customs Classics. Evening, ladies. How you doing, Cousin Mike? So yeah, Shopcat Industries. Well, don't that just looks so fancy. Yeah, this is my new studio. Shopcat, I actually built a studio and I actually like it. It's comfortable. I'm still getting used to it. Actually, real quick, Big Block 402, pulling the transmission out of Candy Cane, which is a badass truck on Saturday. Got to refresh it and put a bigger torque converter than putting the tunnel ram on it. Badass. Very badass. Pretty soon, my car will be going to John Copes to get worked on transmission. Supposed to do it a couple weeks ago. Weather and life got in the way of that too. Jason said he's going to probably work this weekend. I need more money for projects. Don't we all? And I'm going to give you a call, Jason. My week has just been between work, trying to get this stuff done, kids, you name it. It's just been insanely busy. Like I haven't been burning the candle at both ends of the stick. Road trip Saturday, get new wheels for the bird. Pretty awesome. What are you getting, Mike? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I do dig this. Like I said, I'm gonna make a video on showing like all this. I can't wait to do my new YouTube channel. I will I will kind of give a little I'll give you the name. Like I said, it's not going to be car related. Some four turbine wheels, cool. It's going to be called Troglodyte Nation. And there's another YouTuber that's got a great voice that is a car person that I've done an event with that's going to be joining me on it, and it's going to be absolutely hilarious. But yeah, this is kind of a multi-purpose room for that, so that's going to be fun. So if anybody wants to join, hey, thanks, Mike. I'll put that link back in. Like I said, I'm not going to go super late tonight. I really can't, but wanted to get some stuff in there. Jay from Irish Outlaws Garage. Welcome. And I think someone said Blake's in the house. I didn't see him. Sorry if I didn't. Irish, speaking of wheels, I need some 5-on-5 wheels and a rear bumper for a square body. I wish I could help you out. Shopcat says, halfway through lifting a Tacoma. That's Caterday's video. Anybody needs an alternator change on his Grand Cherokee CRD? Nightmare job. Yes, they are. I've only just started it, but I can see the alternator now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how some of that stuff, it's an item that is a wearable, that they don't make them accessible. Yeah, Blake is a co-host. No, it's not Blake. My co-host with this, that's going to be physically in this room with me, is a friend of mine that nobody's ever seen on the channel and all that. Car guy, but his life's busy. But him and I do talk a lot of stuff other than cars. But the other person that's going to be with this is a YouTuber. It's got, like I said, a great voice and all that. And he's going to be doing it with me. Hello, 6% Recycled. How you doing tonight? But yeah, Shopcat says I have to undo the engine mount and lift the engine, laugh my ass off. Yes. Yes. I tell you, like some of these cars, they don't make them easy to work on. Big Block 402. Here's a question for you guys. I don't know the rules of the monkey bike part. Colleen, I'm gonna have to look that up. But how many of you out there that are going to No Name Nationals? How many out there that are on here now are going to participate in the monkey bike challenge? John Wilburn's in the house. Hey, John, if you can, pop in here. Functional histories. Hello, functional histories. John, I actually missed the part on the stuff on the monkey bike rules, and somebody was saying what I thought about the rules. I actually missed it. Rules are up. Okay, I'll have to go check those out. BB402. I will bring mine back this year, but not doing anything fancy to it. Just make it from A to B. It's always fun. Always fun. Mr. Wilburn is definitely in the house. Always joins. Yeah, it is a Thursday night. I have not a whole lot of big plans. I need to call Jimmy, find out what's going on with some dragster stuff. It's kind of slow going on that. One of the reasons is we building a chassis jig, and I've been making a video over a period of a couple weeks of that. Nothing crazy. Like I said, though, the Chevelle is done, and I think I put out a video on that. I just did the last one. I'm doing like my review of the sniper, and then I made a cool video of time lapse of like everything we did. Duckster Wolverine Garage in the house. Have no fear, the Duckster is here. Just a quick high and by. I got to hit the sack. Doug, well, thanks for dropping in. Functional histories. Makes those cool little 164th cars. Hey, do you ever plan on doing those in like 1/18 scale or 1/24 scale? So, Here's a question for you guys. I'm looking up something now. How many guys are bringing something new to the No Name Nationals? Aaron Henry, welcome. Oh, Mr. John Cope. Cope Racing Transmissions. I watched his video today. I made a guess on what he was asking. His intros and outros are absolutely epic. What I thought was really cool about it is he's playing a clip from the movie Christine, probably another one of the best car movies out there. And the guy that rents space out to Artie, I think his name is who's got Christine. He calls him a mechanical asshole. Don't run that mechanical asshole. Get in here, out. Blah, 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 blah. It's freaking hilarious, and that's one of the best. I just absolutely love that in John's video. Dust Devil Garage. Yes, thank you, Dust Devil. This is my new studio I built. It is finally something where I can do what I need to do. And we got Aaron Henry in the house. Peckerwood. Peckerwood. That's why that name sounded familiar. Another overseas friend. And it's probably, midday there? Mid-morning? Half Pint will be there. Awesome. Let's see here. We got... yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to actually use StreamYard and all that so I can play the clips of it. But I'm telling you, John's freaking video is freaking hilarious. The intro. You know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Let me Google, see how I can figure this out. Let's see if I can try to figure this out. There's a present button. I'm going to go to YouTube. www.youtube. John Cope. Cope Racing Transmissions. Cope Racing Transmissions. Okay, let's see here if I can actually play this. Okay, channel StreamYard. Present. I'm gonna add John to Wilbur into the house. John, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do something, and I have no freaking idea how to do it. Share screen. So what I'm gonna try to do is Microsoft Edge. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
The last time you run that mechanical asshole in here around an exhaust hose, I catch you doing it one time and you're out. You understand?
That is got to be one of the best things ever.
That's a big deal in trade school. They hated it when you didn't get a hose on a car in the shop.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. So what's going on, Mr. Wilburn?
I brought a car in one time that was smoking really bad. They said, "What are you running in that thing, Wilburn? Coal?"
See, that's like right now when we're working in, Kyle's shop. Hey, Outfits Garage, how you doing, buddy? We have the door closed because it's, minus 1,000 degrees out, and we've been gassing ourselves out. We're actually looking at putting a vent system in there.
I absolutely hate the cold.
I do too.
There have been days I've gone outside to work. I'm just like, oh, this is awful. I just hate it.
So, John, I missed it. So, monkey bike rules.
Yep, they are here.
What do we got?
They're up on the site.
Okay. LP94 low.
What do you want? What do you want to know specifically, or do you want me to give you an overview of what we've come up with for this year?
Let's hear an overview.
Okay. Well, there's actually here is the OG rules, and here now. If it looks like it's fewer words, that's because it is.
That's good.
I'm very much into. I'm more Henry the Occam, than Rube Goldberg, so I like it concise. But it's going to be a 330-foot race.
Nice.
Which means that we're going to have a 330-foot race with a 45-mile-an-hour breakout. And we've put a percentage of grace on that. So, if you run 45.3, You're probably not going to get kicked out, but there is a certain percentage applied to everybody of grace. But it's a 45-mile-an-hour breakout that's enforced on the entire track. But here's the key: that takes something to get that thing to 45 miles an hour and 330 feet. That's
Oh,
a
it
quick
does.
bike.
It
Oh
does.
yeah, and no running starts. The running start is now gone. So where you're row your boat with your feet on the starting line, I saw all
Yeah.
that last year. That's
Hey,
gone.
remember, if it's not written out as a rule, I'm not breaking a
Yeah.
rule.
Oh, we didn't have any
That's
problem with it.
smoky eunuch in me.
We had no problem with the running start. I don't know which one of you did it first. It might have been you. But anyway, one person did it and everybody else is like, hey. Yeah, we knew that was a thing. But this year we're specifically getting rid of it because we want to see people develop the tune of the bike. As in the clutch.
Oh yeah.
Traction. And so we're coming to how we're going to let you do that next. The frame is going to be any two-wheeled mini bike frame. So it could be the CT100U, and that's a really nice light place to start. But you could run the 200, you could run the CT100X, you could run some other brand, right?
Right. What about making your own?
We were asked that, and we really want to keep people away from dangerous stuff. It can't be overly light. So I don't think I'd have a problem if people made their own, but it's got to pass tech inspection. So if you make your own and it comes in here with this booger welded, stick welded mess, then you've come for nothing. So
yeah,
remember, Deke would be inspecting it like he would inspect the chassis.
Yeah, and I know how rigid he is on that type of stuff.
And we're just saying, the class buy-in, anybody that was complaining about the buy-in and wants to make their own chassis, I'm like, come on, people, which is it? But any two-wheeled mini bike frame.
Here's a good question from Dust Devil, real quick.
Yeah,
so mini bike,
bicycles aren't made to have engine torque. Okay, frame structure must maintain stock length and width. All right. Didn't say anything about the forks, but we're talking about the frame. Stock length and width, excluding brackets and tabs and stuff. Okay, you can do what you want. No excessive lightening. So, and the tech director's got the final say on that. So, if you bring in a mini bike that looks like Plan Z, you might have problems with structural integrity and Deke. Okay?
I can see that.
Yep. No suspension is allowed. No motorcycle or dirt bike frames are allowed. We want to keep all that out. And here's the thing. If you run a motorcycle frame, you don't want to win anyway because, you're going to be restricted on what you can run for power.
Yes.
The bike still has to weigh a minimum of 230 pounds. That is so easy. I mean, geez, man. Did you have to carry any ballast? Damien,
I don't even remember.
About 10 pounds.
I know he had that giant chain on. I actually, if I recall right, I think I was 2 pounds over with the bike.
Okay, yeah, you were.
So if I would have taken a healthy crap that morning, I'd have been screwed.
So anybody bigger than 2 hikes is going to be good. Anybody else might have to put some, but you can put it where you want to on the bike. It just has to be bolted to the frame or in a ballast box. That's all. Now, here's the thing a lot of people want to know is the engine. You can only run one engine, so no tractor pull looking bikes with 4 of them. Can't do that because I know somebody would. It can be any 2 or 4 stroke single cylinder engine to a limit of 236 cc's. How wide open is that?
That's pretty wide open.
Entries of 100 cc and smaller may use power adders. Entries over 100 cc have to run naturally aspirated.
Repeat that again.
So if you have an entry that's 100 cc and smaller, you can run a power adder.
Okay.
If you're over 100 cc, you have to be NA. So basically, Monkey Bike now has a nitrous and a mountain motor class.
So I ran nitrous last year.
It's one class, but it's right. There you go.
Yeah, I had that little cheater nitrous system.
Would still be completely legal.
Good.
Any gasoline, methanol, or alcohol is permitted. Nitromethane or any monopropellant is expressly prohibited.
How are you going to test for the nitromethane?
Oh, we can test it. Yeah,
I know
deacon
you
testing.
can.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes sir. Any final drive gearing is allowed. This is specific. So you can run any final drive, but you can't run a transmission. Okay. No shifting of gears automatically or manually is allowed. No transmissions. So you can have a
Okay.
final drive, but whatever your final drive ratio is what it's going to be for the whole run.
Okay.
Okay.
So no
So in
slider
other words,
clutch.
we're encouraging you to figure out how to get your stuff to RPM, right? Chain drive only, no belts, because we're not going to let somebody get away with a CVT. So chain drive only, no belts, centrifugal clutch only. And chain and clutch must be covered by a guard.
So here's a question for you. They do make a. Oh man, I need to look at something real quick, John. That's interesting. Because I almost did this last year. If I can find it, it's pretty interesting, and I don't know if this is gonna stir up some shit, but let me present. Hey, I actually learned something. I learned how to actually present. Um, so right here, if you go to Predator 212, can you see what the channel I'm on or the website I'm on? Okay,
Can't
why
make
is
that
it
out
not?
through Google search.
Okay, I don't know why it's. Let me try something real quick. Having a technical difficulty moment. Let me
So
remove
you can run
that.
up to 236. So the Predator 212, even if you ran an overboard variant of it, you can go all the way up to 236.
Okay, so here's something. Here's something interesting. Um, this here is a Predator 212cc high performance variable clutch set. So that's the CVT torque converter thing you're talking that can't be
Yeah, but see,
used.
that's a CVT. That's a
Okay.
CVT. So expressly, you cannot run the belt that goes over to that transmission or CVT.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
has to be, yeah, direct.
Because
For
basically
whatever
this.
reason.
Okay. Because that adds. This basically creates a belt drive CVT on the
It's a
212
transmission and it's
engine.
belt drive, right? Can't run that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Here's the thing: we don't want anybody getting hurt on these things. We know
No,
that
I
if you
know.
didn't
I
put
know.
some guardrails on it, you guys could literally go 100 miles an
Oh yeah,
hour.
and I've been 45 on that little Chainesium one I have on country roads, and 45 mile an hour whizzing along on one of those is you're pretty close to the ground.
Right, and since this event is not invitation only, we could have all kinds of people there. We just want to make them be safe. Safety equipment. We're going to a full face helmet this year. You have to run a full face helmet. You can run the visor open, but you need to be full face. Closed-toed shoes, real shoes, no flip-flops, Jeff. I mean, no flip-flops, anybody. No flip-flops, Crocs, or none
Yeah.
of that. And long pants, long sleeve shirts, and gloves. All skin must be covered. If you're running a power adder, you need to have a leather jacket. So if you want to
Oh,
spray
okay.
that thing until it comes apart, that's fine, but you need to have a leather jacket for shrapnel and a dead man switch, just like last year. So there you go. Your 2024
So
e-bike rules.
okay,
That's going to really open
huh?
things up.
It really is, and honestly, I could see some really fast things coming, but I could also see some over-engineered piles of shit. Because I mean it.
Yeah,
I mean it's
yeah.
one of those things. Where it's like, hey, you can do some cool stuff, but hey, Junkyard D's in the house. How y'all doing? But
Hey,
you could
Big
all.
Block 402, we saw 45 miles an hour last year anyway, but it took
Yeah.
an eighth of a mile to get it. So the speeds aren't really, hopefully, the speeds aren't changing. We'll just get to them a lot quicker.
Right. So I'm looking up something now, and I guess this is also a CVT
Yep.
trans. Okay.
No, there are limitations here to work around. And if you, and again, you can't try to extract intel out of Polito and I, but or Deke or Dallas or any of that. But what I'll say is the idea here is you can obviously see a person who can turn RPM would be in an advantage. A
It
person
is.
without excessive weight would be in an advantage. Um, there are advantage. A person who
So
can
the
lift
RPM thing is
the
key because a lot of the yeah. The
clutch,
RPM
grip the
thing is
clutch,
really
all of it.
key because those things are the clutch. I've got a different clutch in mine, and I still don't think it's working right. But there's a lot you can do with those springs and all that. And what I'm going to play around with when I get time is how to make it be so loose. It just, you know, I
Well,
grabs, but
last 2 years, the monkey bikes were limited by being a spec class. So you had to operate within the spec to get everything you could. And some of you did really got a lot out of it. I mean, look at Roland, right? This year, we've kind of gone at it from the other approach. We figured a few backstops to keep people from turning themselves into roadkill and then allowing anything else in the middle. So if you think about it, by doing a speed breakout, it's going to give you guys a lot of leeway. If people won't honor the speed breakout, they're like, well, I don't care if I get thrown out. I want to make 100-mile-an-hour glory pass. You will be DQ'd. If you try to do that, we'll probably throw you out too. So don't
yeah.
do that, but um, yeah, it's exciting. I don't think I'd want to go that quick in 330 feet that close to the ground going that fast.
Boy, and those things are bouncy because there's no suspension. It's pretty
I
crazy.
know. I know. I
Very, very
know.
bouncy.
So we're proud of these rules. We think it's going to be some good competition, and
Yeah.
it could be interesting. Who knows? I mean, we could see a 97cc with a bunch of spray versus a naturally aspirated 212 or something. I mean, the finals.
Yeah.
Who knows? That will be really interesting. That will mean there's
It
parity.
would be. It would be. Be very interesting. It would be absolutely very, very interesting. Junkyard D says he's excited about the new rules. I think whoever can use some engine, yeah, and really, it does come down to RPM. Those things bog bad.
Yeah, things. So looking at the landscape of the No Name Nationals, we looked at what class really needed the most attention to renovate this year, and it was monkey bike. So we got some other new things we're going to be doing, but we didn't want to make any significant changes to classes, not more than one anyway at a time.
Yeah.
So we got
Hey,
some
while you're
I think you'll
yeah,
really like to do, but that'll be
keep
announced later.
keep talking, John. I am going to test my headset out to see how far I can walk away from this. So, so keep talking. Hopefully, I can still hear you. Can you still hear me?
Let's punk him out. Dean says, I got thrown out of the No Name Nationals monkey bike. Well, I mean, if Hippie ran one, it'd be neat. I know that the Bad Tree guys ran one the first year, but my understanding is that's primarily for points. But anyway, yeah. Big Block 402, thanks for swinging by. Tomorrow night, while Jeff is out, I'll just mention this since he says see you on the next. I'm going to be having a live stream with the fellas who won the first two clocks, the motivational clocks for the No Name Nationals. And that'd be Brian from Dust Devil Garage and Damien from Mopars, Mustangs, and Minivans. Junkyard D said, you said spray. Nitrous. Isn't nitrous a monopropellant? I don't think so. I'm talking about rocket fuel. I'm talking about things that don't need oxygen to burn. Nitromethane, I think, is a monopropellant. If it's not, it's close. It's like 1.7 to 1 AFR, so it's close. I've been enjoying watching your shorts and stuff you've been putting up, Steven. That's pretty cool. Candy cane is going to be wild this year. Aaron Henry's in the house. Good to see you, Aaron. Aaron, I hope we get to meet in person this year. Hope it works out for you. Big Block 402 says can't run straight nitrous, so it's not a propellant. Well, you can't run straight nitrous anyway, so no, Jeff cannot sit still. He does not sleep. He does not sit still. It is not possible. We've been doing good on entries. Everything's cooking along. Got the 3:30 clocks fixed out there. I heard they were, but I had to verify because can't run a 330-foot race without 330-foot clocks. Jeffrey's infinite mass is moving the chairs. Okay. I think 2 hacks weighs about 48 pounds, something close. Jeff can't wait in line at fast food joints. That is true. Frank McCart Rivet in F100 says, as a kid, we strapped a 5-horsepower Briggs on a Schwinn Stingray. It was a blast till you wanted to stop. Well, no kidding. Fortunately, you're going to have an enormous amount of room to stop on those things, but still want some brakes.
I need some brakes. All right. So here's another cool one for you, John. I just got thinking about this. So back in the 60s, before these guys could have any clutch technology and all that bullshit, they used a stand and would get that fucker spinning and then kick off the stand or get pushed off the stand. What about that?
Yeah, we'll have to ban that too, I'd say. That'd really be nice.
Well, I mean, could you use your a factory kickstand or one of the factory things? Because what happened is, yeah, because like back in the day when the V8 motorcycles and all that first time were coming out, it was just direct drive. There was no clutch. So these guys would have that stand and they would just whoa and just launch and they'd smoke. They get the RPMs like you need and smoke them tires that tire all the way down the track.
I'll ask them, but here's the thing that I think's amazing. There's all kinds of things we never said you couldn't do in the first rules, and nobody even tried. And this year, it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to show you. We're going to go so far over the top, you won't even recognize it anymore. So how many people are actually going to do this stuff? So we may have to put some stuff in there about that. I'm going to say no on that. You can push off, okay, but you can't. Once your foot leaves the pavement, leaves the starting line, it's up. That's it.
Yeah, I get it. I get that part.
You can't get the running start.
No, I get that. I totally get that. Because if you think about it, it's not a running start, right? I mean that. Let me see if I can find it.
It's a modified Le Mans start. How's that?
Okay, I'll go with that.
I'll go with that. Yeah, we're calling it a running start. What you guys were doing last year, which we thought was super innovative, I thought it was great, but we want to get rid of that and put it more in the clutch and engine and power. And don't underestimate what you can do because these things are going to scoot if you do it right.
They are going to scoot if you do it right, and it is all about the RPMs. It's exactly all about the RPMs, which is kind of neat to think about.
You have to watch the tech a little tighter on these because people are probably going to try some stuff. So I said that they can be weighed. They have to weigh 230 pounds in at the conclusion of every run, but we can weigh them at any time. So
I tell you what. So here's a question for you. On the weight thing, are you weighing them before they go up to race, or are you weighing them during tech?
I'm sure we'll weigh them during tech. But it's 230 pounds to the conclusion of a run. So we can be waiting with scales for you on the return road at any time.
Okay, I'm just
Not
wondering
saying
on
we
that.
will. If you think about it, it's exactly the same as they do Top Fuel cars and Pro Stock and NHRA. It's exactly the same. So they'll weigh them all at tech, right? And then some rounds at random, they'll just pull them to the scales. That's how they do it. And we'll just do it exactly like the pro classes do for those bikes.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing to consider. I'm just looking up some old motorcycle stuff because I literally tried one day to like research how these guys did all the motorcycle racing back in the day, and we talked about the Le Mans start and all that type of stuff. And you're talking about power adders and all that type of stuff. Do you define what power adders are?
Well, I mean, just some examples of power adder could be nitrous oxide, turbocharging, supercharging. Those would be examples of power adders.
But is it limited? Because there's something I saw and I really want to do, and I know I can do it.
You want to put 110 millimeter turbo, twin
Nope.
turbos on a.
No, here's what I actually saw, and I think it would be badass. And it is a quick, a rocket. A rocket. A homemade rocket.
No, because that's a monopropellant.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, we did that for exhibition on Dallas's bike last year, and it actually did get some propulsion out of it. I mean, you could visibly see that bike get a push from those 5 big bottle rockets. But when they popped, he said it felt like he got hit with a board, and it came back on me. But it was fun.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that, competition.
Yeah. Dean says I'm on your side. Engineers are that guy. So, hey, good night, Colleen. No, but I think that would be kind of neat. Like, I watched this video, and this guy made, like, this thing on the ice, and it was rocket powered. I'm going, man, there ain't no brakes, but it looked like fun. It looked like a whole lot of fun. Because I'm pulling the Smoky Unic thing out. Because you and I had a conversation last year when we were talking about my monkey bike build and how it didn't quite meet class spec, but
you were ahead of your time.
I was ahead of my time. It was the Outlaw monkey bike. I got some ideas I want to do. I mean, I want to pour more nitrous to it. I want to play around with fuel. I already have a milled head, but maybe I'll mill it down a whole hell of a lot more. I don't know.
This idea is not just this year.
Oh, I know.
This idea was earlier, but this year its time has come. We had a great idea last year whose time hadn't quite come yet.
Right.
And now its time is hopefully going to come this year. That'll be announced a little bit later. We're working on it.
Nice.
But there were a couple of significant changes for this year, and this was one of them. I think we can get a significantly bigger monkey bike field.
I think we can too. It's actually a really fun class because it's like the funny part about it is monkey bikes. You see them all over the place, campgrounds and the pits, neighborhoods. You have anybody from the ages of 5 to 90 riding around on them. It's pretty awesome.
You can get jockey drivers to your monkey bikes. So, like, for example, if you want to get John Cope to be your jockey driver for the monkey bike, you can do that.
I would jockey for people.
Right. You were a jockey driver last year.
I was. Frank McCart's got a question for you. What about a show-only class that can't go on the track? It would be just cool to see how far to the top someone could go.
Well, the only problem with that is that's called the, reckless could kill yourself class. And we would have that concern with anything coming to the No Name Nationals. So at what point do you want to push this stuff that was never like these mini bike frames? There's got to be a stopping point for them. So if you want to just see how fast you can go with no end in sight, then just bring a motorcycle, call out 113 cycles or something. I mean, that's for all that. But as far as these mini bikes, we really have to have some guardrails on it.
We do.
I don't want anybody getting hurt.
No,
they're not made to go as fast as we're talking about.
No, they're really not.
Take the governor off. What would yours run with the stock 97cc and no governor, Jeff?
I don't know, 30. But like I
Oh
yanked
yeah.
that governor off, and that thing flies.
I want to say it was 28 miles an hour
Maybe
with,
28.
with a
Yeah,
150
yeah,
pound rider and the governor.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
about, yeah. And so we're already testing the limits of what these things are supposed to do.
And I'm telling you, like I've been 45 on that little bike, and that
Hmm.
thing's that's 45 is screaming, and like I got nitrous on there. It's a single stage, one thing, but I have what I'm gonna try to do, and I'm just saying this. Old McDonald has a car. Nice for joining us. I'm gonna add two of them so I can engage two and just spray the shit out of it. I mean,
Hmm.
literally just, and the kit says don't hold the button for more than 2 seconds. So I decided, well, I'm going to test it out, and I just put it off its rear tire and floored it, and just emptied a brand new bottle to see what it would do. It didn't blow it up. It didn't blow it up, which was kind of neat. Absolutely neat. So
Well, that's up to you, but you just have to wear a leather jacket. That's the only safety difference.
I'll definitely be wearing a leather jacket. Definitely. Dean Stevenson. Hey, John. Cope, how easy it is to get one of them impeachment pins Nancy was hacking off? Well, I can tell you what. Once she pulls them out of her crooked fucking ass, you'd have to wipe it off, and it would probably be overtaxed anyway. I was at the beginning of this live, John. I was talking about making this studio. I think I already talked to you about this, but the studio is going to serve as a secondary spin-off YouTube channel. 'Cause I don't talk politics, social issues, any of that on my channel, but I'm going to create a channel for that. And actually, Eric, the Destroyer 1320, is going to be part of that. And my friend of mine, Mike, who I grew up with, he's going to be joining me. It's going to be called Troglodyte Nation. It's gonna be fun. Junkyard D, Jeff, did you gap rings for the spray? No, not on the mini bike. I did not. That was a brand new Predator engine, and I put like a cold air intake on it, and literally a straight pipe. Bought a milled head, put a different clutch on it, and just spray the shit out of it. In fact, Eric, Destroyer 1320, is the one who sent me and my son that kit, and it has seen countless bottles, and it still is not blowing up. It's probably because
Nice.
it's made in China, and it's pre-gapped from the factory due
I was gonna
to
say, my
lack.
guess is it probably has a generous gap like everything else in those engines.
Yeah, yeah,
My guess is if you have an engine that price range, they're just going to make it real easy on themselves and not risk running anything too tight. Bearings, rings, nothing.
yeah. That's the other thing is there's a lot of times on these mini bikes because we blew up an engine. Boy, once those things go, there ain't much. There ain't a whole lot of time. I can tell you that, and they go quick.
Yeah, Dizzy's got quite a collection on the back of his truck. I saw that
Yeah,
last
yeah,
fall.
yeah. It has a gap like Nancy.
Yeah, Cope, you should have a trunk valve body that's orange.
It's not as gapped. Hey, Eric, it's not as gapped as bad as Stacey Abrams' teeth.
You should have a trunkmatic valve body that's orange, and the shifter has MAGA for one, two,
Yep.
three, four.
Making automatic great again. That's how you do it right there.
That's
That's
it.
exactly.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I do. That'd be
That's
hilarious.
that needs to be a CRT ad right there, making automatic great again.
Yep. And you could
And he
have
could
it as a
use that to rub it
huge
in.
improvement.
He could use that to rub it in on these guys that have automatic shift trans brake valve bodies with overdrive on a button, forward pattern, and all that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he could rub it in on those guys that basically innovated a malfunction and call it a trans brake.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just brainstorming here. So John could do the making automatics great again ad,
Yeah.
and he could come up with instead of the red hat and all that, it could be the orange, and um. Oh, and he always I like this what's the saying or something? My transmissions are for guys that don't sit down to pee or something like that.
That works.
Sounds like it has a positive gearing, yes. But yeah, we could do that. Dean says making things automatically awesome again. Yeah, I could do that. But I do like the making automatics great again ad. That'd be freaking
Yeah.
hilarious. It'd be freaking hilarious. And I'm not gonna say what John Cope and I were talking about on the phone. It was nothing bad, but John, I have not got a response back from the guy you asked me to talk to. Just letting you know. No response back.
You'll probably get a meme about that later, making automatics great again.
Oh my god. Yes. Yes. That would be epic to see. Automag. I don't think Trump is into automaga trans. Probably not. Probably not. I watched, I'll just get political here for a second. I was watching a clip and earlier, and it was a video, undercover video, if you want to call it, of one of Trump's top cabinet officials literally just excoriating the fact that the guy's got dementia, like nobody likes Kamala. I mean, just on and on and on. It was like everyone that says, oh, like, oh, this is what's going on with this guy, and this is what's going on with this lady. Oh no, 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 it's not. Like, his freaking people were even talking about it. It's like, I hope people wake up. So, John, what have you been up to last few days?
This has been a lot of it. Um, I'm working on the clock to give away the third annual clock. So we're gonna have Dust Devil Garage and Mopars, Mustangs, and Minivans on tomorrow night, and they're going to be talking about clocks past and all that kind of stuff related to it. And we will soon find out who is getting clock number 3.
Nice.
It is in the works.
So, what's the clock look like? Same style?
Well, yeah. It's going to have different stuff on it. For reference, I can show you what last year's looked like because not everybody knows. This is last year's clock right here. This
Yeah.
is it.
That's pretty slick.
For those who didn't see it, that's what it looks like. And it has different sections on it, like lots of time. And then it keeps going from green to red until you get to lots of time for next year's No Name Nationals and everything in between. Sometimes there's a fun square on there like Bojangles or Ryan Barr's Nest. So this one will be no exception. I think this one will be lots of fun. Probably be the best version yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be pretty cool. Mission. Oops. Let's see what Dean says. I am a Kiwi. The dudes in Stormtrooper riot gear might come to my house. They do that in New Zealand. You know what? Here in America, we have a Second Amendment. Them fucking douchebags, when they show up in their riot gear with their blue helmets, go for it.
Just show up in polo shirts over there, Dean. You guys are on.
I saw it in 1984, a great movie. It is. And you know what? Unfortunately, 1984 is what we're living in 2024. There's a really good episode of Twilight Zone called The Obsolete Man. If you like the Twilight Zone, you like Burgess Meredith, you like that type of stuff, you need to watch Twilight Zone on an episode called The Obsolete Man. And when you watch that, you will think you're living in today's world. And back then, it was a warning in entertainment. But I'm telling you, watch it. Obsolete Man. In fact, I'll find that real quick. Let's see here. It's funny how there's all this stuff that's basically has been written or produced as basically warnings on stuff, and people still don't see it because they are blind. Obsolete Man. Okay. Share. Let's see here. Copy. Copy. Okay, I am going to put this in here. And if anybody wants to ever click on that and watch it, there you go. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually really good. But yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Got to work. Weekend, like I said, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing yet, but it's going to be fun. Old MacDonald has a car. Destroyer, if you don't want to blow a tranny, will you check their rear or front seal? You don't need to. You don't even go to check for a seal. It's got the, Adam's apple type thing.
I was gonna say we know people who do that
Yeah.
and take their word for it.
Oh, there's so many jokes around that. It's kind of like you can no longer say, the hookers and tranny thing with cars anymore, unfortunately.
Dallas said that when you're in these little peanut bars overseas, he said you
Yes.
got to do tech inspection. Dust Devil Brian would like to know if you're bringing the Thunderbird again this year.
I am. I am bringing the Thunderbird. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the Thunderbird. Only changes to the Thunderbird, it's going to, John Copenhagen are going to be redoing the transmission. It's going to have a trans brake, reverse manual, valve body. So that'll be different. It's going to have a much lower planetary gear set in it, much better clutches, you name it. Two-step, which I already put in. Instead of the 430s with a traction lock, it is getting 488 with a spool. I did swap everything out to QA1, and I'm going to be doing some testing this spring and see what I can get it dialed into and run the hell out of it. Have a good night, Frank. Yeah, the plan is to bring, well, of course, the monkey bike and the bird and the dragster. So the bird will be there.
Are you going after low ET?
Yeah. Yep.
I think the
I'm
record
going.
at No Name Nationals ever, first and second year, is 551.
That was
It's Redbeard.
Redbeard, yeah.
Redbeard is the fastest. Next is Andrew Nelson at a 562. So
What was the mile an hour, top mile an hour? Do you know?
I want to say it was 127 for Andrew.
That's moving.
He was flying. Well, he had transmission problems. He had a problem with the transmission, but he said once he got that thing hooked up, he was flying.
So low ET, that's what I'm going for.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly what I'm going for. Is low ET, and I am going for low ET. 2X. Did you ever put that engine you were building on the dyno? No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I do plan on dynoing the 521 in the car. That's been on my bucket list, and I think I'm ready to do that. Really want to get that done. There is an engine that the engine we build for the dragster will probably see some dyno time. I'm working on that. The only problem is the people that operate that dyno, they don't ever play around with the kind of fuel that we're going to be sending to it. So, I don't want anything bad to happen. So I'm working on that.
You can take it down to Charlotte.
I know.
Vizard's dyno guy down there, Greg Finnegan's really conscientious. Runs a good program. Get an honest correction factor and take your time, tune it. That's a good facility.
So here's a question for you, John. Speaking of dynos, you ever thought about having a dyno at the No Name Nationals?
That is trying its best. Nature is telling me not this year for a number of reasons. I have looked into it. I've inquired about it. I'm not saying it won't happen this year, but if I do, I'm going to be fighting a whole lot of things to make it happen that I shouldn't have to. And I think what I'm leaning toward doing is deferring, just passing that idea by just for the year. I think it's a good idea whose time hasn't quite come yet. It could, but I don't think so. And there's a lot
I
of
get it.
reasons why. There's a lot of reasons why. It's not just cost or anything like that. There's a lot of reasons why.
I get it. I get it. Mobile dinos are neat. That's actually pretty cool. I've seen quite a few and all that. They're pretty neat. In fact, I was looking at renting one because I knew a guy that had one, and like my T-Bird, Kyle's GTO, my friend Eddie Chevelle, a bunch of people. We had a bunch of vehicles, and we were trying to find a good day and location to call up her buddy and say, hey, if we threw you some, I don't know, $300-400 or whatever, 500 between everybody, get it out there and just rip it on the dyno. Could he do it? We could just never literally find the time between events that he was doing and where we all could get together. But that would have been so much fun. Much fun.
There are a lot of things that may or may not work about it, but I got to tell you, it looks like everything in nature. I've got about 5 things saying it's a great idea and about 20 things telling me not a good idea this year. But I think that might change a little over time. We'll see.
Yes. So, when Andy's engine blew on that dyno, what was that like?
When it blew on the dyno?
Yeah, when he shot that rod.
It blew up on I-40, about 5 miles into North Carolina.
No, I knew that. I thought one of them blew on a dyno.
No, the mixed up Boss didn't. It dynoed down there in Charlotte, made 709. I know. The 393 blew up right beside me on I-40. Like, I heard it, saw it.
Oh, I watched the video.
Like, right outside my window. I'm filming it. He was about a car length back of me in the left lane, and I heard that thing marbles in a coffee can. Like,
yeah.
Ooh, that didn't sound good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but... the kind of commitments and costs and the way you'd have to lean on some people, you want it to be a fun event. So I got an idea of how we would want to do it to keep it
fun. It'd be fun.
Yeah, and if you had something that was really expensive or just a few people are going to tune on it all day and you're taking away from the rest of the program and all of it, see, then it starts to become it starts becoming negative for the event itself. I know everybody's like, oh man, how is there any downside to a dyno? Believe me, there is. So I just think there's more to work out on the dyno. I think there's more to work out on the dyno. I'm not saying no, but it's looking more like it's something I kind of want to look at more for next year.
Definitely.
That said, there's something that last year I said it's a good idea, but its time hasn't come yet. And this year we want to do that.
Hold that thought. Keep the show going, John. I need to use the restroom. I like the dyno stuff though. That sounds exciting.
There's a lot of things people like, but what does it actually take? What does it actually take? Who's actually paying for it? What's it actually add to the event, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And old McDonald says, isn't the drag strip ultimately the perfect dyno? Yes, it is. It really is. No, Dean, it wasn't over a bridge. That said, somewhere along the side, probably under a guardrail to this day on I-40, about 5 miles into Tennessee from the North Carolina state line, there's about half of that Manly connecting rod. Junkyard D, it is super expensive. And part of the thing is that most of the people who want to do it would want to sit on it and take a lot of time on it and do a bunch of tuning. And that's not what's good for a show and an event like that. I'd want to see more people get on it, make a pass, see what their car makes, roll on, cheer for your friends. That's kind of how I think would be cooler to do it. Definitely makes a better show. Dust Devil says movies this year, quite possibly. Quite possibly. But I got to say, we talk movies for this year. Who showed up last year? That's the thing. That was an experiment. It did not come out of the event funds, but it was an experiment to see how it would go over. And I got to say, everybody was tired on Thursday from rolling, so that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we don't want to. If people just want to rest and or drink beer in the pits and hang out, that's fine. But so we may or may not do a movie. We may. I'm kind of leaning toward it, but it is expensive to do. You have to have a screening license and all of that. I've got plenty of titles that I've already figured out or right and all of that, and can get licenses for. But got to have more attendance to make keeping the movie feasible. But Dino is open for 2 days and it's free to the contenders. Yes, it is. Pity the grass cutting crew that hit the lost parts. Should have had any lost parts in the grass. Well, it could have been over on the pit side. More of a dyno competition, yeah. So how do you think people competing on the track feel if everybody's just hanging out by the dyno? I try to make this event to where you're not choosing so much, and it's more everybody engaged. Like I don't think there's any other event that shuts down everything for the burnout competition. I think we're the only one that does that. And then we have a huge crowd and everybody's there to cheer and have a good time. And I like it that way. It's great. You don't want anything at the event to just turn into wallpaper. And the No Name Nationals, it doesn't, because of the way we get a lot of participation from everybody. And we have our events pretty consecutively like that. The dyno would actually begin to change that a little bit. Eric, we'd love to have you there if you can get back. It'd be fun. Fly in, rent you a Challenger, and take it back upgraded. Yeah, Eric's going to come. He's going to rent a Challenger. He's going to do the burnout competition, the bracket, and then he's going to dare somebody to steal it. Put it on timer. Well, I can't condone, any possible violation of your rental car policy, but who am I to know? You might be renting from the coolest rental car company ever that just totally thinks that's cool and kosher. Oh, McDonald, I would say the one hike is, well, I think you might have it backwards. Is Turlo in here? I didn't see Turlo. Turo rental car. Okay. The fact that Enterprise will still rent to me is a testament to how good they are to work with. Yeah, we got some cool stuff in the hopper for y'all. I talked with Possum, who's running the track, and man, that track is so much better now. That that lightning strike where everything was down out there to track for a few months, it did a real number on the track surface, but that's been continuously improved upon ever since, and it is back.
It is back. Here we go. And look at this character.
Hey, there's Destroyer, Eric.
How you guys doing?
Doing quite excellent.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, Turlo's in the house. We got a whole bunch of people in the house. It's crazy because I didn't mean to go like this late. I know, John, you're an hour ahead of me, so it's almost midnight. Eric, it's got to be what, 8:55 out there?
9:55. So
9:50. Okay, so an hour behind. It's 10:55 here. I didn't mean to go this late at all. And hey, JB, how you doing? But yeah, I ended up deciding to do it. Maybe I don't know. Be one of those things where if people join, they do. If not, I understand it's late. But yeah, I am digging this studio. So yes, I do smoke, and I don't smoke in here. So every once in a while, I'm gonna have to go use the bathroom and step out.
I was going to say, we had another theory.
What's that?
dropping a loaf.
I just did. I heard a knock on the door, and I said, "Mrs. Pelosi, you're back. Let me let you out the back door."
Oh God, that is going to be so much fun.
Yes. And here's something cool. Everybody knows Eric the Destroyer 1320, and he builds those really cool devices to prevent your vehicles from getting stolen by these troglodytes of society. And he was featured in new products in the SEMA catalog, SEMA News. I don't want to butcher it, but yeah.
Yeah, SEMA magazine, pretty fun.
Yep. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, got a lot of new stuff coming along. Finishing up design work and all that, so gonna keep helping as many people as we can. I need somebody with a 2020 through 2024 Ford F-150.
Does it matter what drivetrain?
As long as it's an F-150, I don't think it matters.
I wonder what my buddy Kyle's is. It might be in that range. 2020 to 2024?
Yep.
Those are all they're not on the column anymore.
Right. Yep, and that's underneath the steering wheel. You pull a little door down, and you can go yank and push the thing away. Brand new Ford Raptor. Yay, it's gone.
Do you know what's funny about this, John? He sure knows how to steal a lot of vehicles.
I watch tow guys, like people who tow vehicles. I watch them and go, ooh, I bet that's probably not good.
Eric, what's retail on your theft deterrent system for the average vehicle? Approximate middle of the road retail.
$45.
Okay, so you got your choice. You can either buy a $90,000 rollback and say, "See, Eric, I'm showing you," or you can get your TDS for $45. See, I think that's just good economy.
I think so, and I got new products that are going to be less than that will also help stop people.
I like it.
Real quick, thank you, Old McDonald. So LP troglodyte is a great word. I'm going to be doing a spinoff with a friend of mine and Eric Destroyer, and it's going to be called Troglodyte Nation, and it has nothing to do with cars. Just letting you know, it might have something to do with
a thumbnail idea, but that would get me an airstrike on another channel.
We got.
John Cope's got a request, everybody.
Good old Harry.
Oh, there was a night Jeff and I were going back and forth doing Harry Carey for like an hour. It was so good.
Dude, we would make these shorts back and forth with each other. And I was doing them at Walmart.
It was so good.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. It is dangerous. And if anybody has ever been to Chirac, and if you're ever near Wrigley, there is the Harry Carey statue. You got to pose next to it. I mean, that's, even though it's an absolute communisto city, the good old Harry Carey statue. And I got lucky enough to see him do the seventh inning stretch in real life when I was a lot younger. It was neat.
But cool. I have a question for you. Did you get yourself a hot dog and an ice cold Budweiser?
Hey, shout out to John Wilbur. He turns 45 today. This has been brought to you by Ace True Value. Just out of nowhere, he would do shit.
By the way, that's a made-up example. I'm already the other side of that. It's not.
I know, but it would be like he butchers a guy's name up to bat. It's like Joe Biden talking fucking economics. Up to bat. Ace 314, left-handed. He's their 46 right-handed. Hey, Ace True Value, good old shout out to that flabby arm bitch down the street. She turned 75 today.
I
Just
always thought
all
he had
over the
mad
fucking
cow
place.
disease.
He kisses
He
her on the
did.
strikes. She kisses him on the balls.
Yes. What's funny about it is there's a picture of him in his like underwear in the booth, right? And the reason being, he always did radio, so he would strip down when he'd get hot.
Right.
So he started doing TV, and they'd have to remind him, "Hey, you're not actually on radio, Harry. You know, you're on TV." Oh shit! Now they know why everyone calls me Harry.
Sorry, I had my flipper flopping around there, everybody. Oh God, there's a picture of him, or no, it's a video of him. It's like the morning. How he would start his morning, literally, is a hot dog and a Budweiser. That's how he'd start.
Yes, yes. He was quite the fellow. Did you hear the time he got robbed?
No.
So he got
Leave me the hell alone, asshole.
So he gets robbed. Let me find the story. Okay. Steve Stone recalls the time Harry Carey was held up. According to Steve Stone, Carey would always wind up at the Chase Park Plaza Hotel on nights in St. Louis, often staying until the bar closed at 4 a.m. Harry Carey was a Cardinals broadcaster from 1945 to 1969. One night, Carey's car didn't start, so he returned to the hotel to call AAA for a tow. He waited outside for a few minutes until a car with two guys inside pulled up behind him. One guy stepped out of the car with a gun, pointing at Carey while walking towards him, and Harry puts up his hands. The guy doesn't say anything, Stone recalled. And Harry says, "Don't get excited," he said. "I'll give you all the money I have on me. I'll give you my watch. I'll give you whatever you want. Just let's make sure what you want, and then you can leave. Everything's okay." The gunman stopped, with his hand suddenly shaking on the gun. He had realized who he was attempting to harm, and after Carey admitted who he was, things took a dramatic turn. And so the guy says, "This is unbelievable. You're Harry Carey. You don't understand. I grew up listening to you," Stone added. "You're all I know about baseball. You taught me all the baseball I know. You're Harry Carey." The guy put his gun down at Carey's request. Asked why Carey was out so late, the legendary broadcaster said he was waiting for a tow as he realized his car might be out of gas. The man offered to drive Carey to and from the gas station, though he declined. What started as a scary encounter ended randomly harmlessly, and the man departed with one final ironic message. He starts to walk away, says Harry, "You shouldn't be alone in this neighborhood at night." The man said, according to Stone, "This is a very dangerous neighborhood." The guy got into his car and drove away.
So I gave the guy a box of Cracker Jacks and sent him out his way.
Yes.
I thought I could get a tow when I ran out of gas one time. I was wrong.
Really? What happened?
No, I've only run out of gas a few times in my life, but never had to get towed. I've always managed to get some petroleum.
There you go. I remember my parents in 1988, roughly in that area, bought a brand new vehicle, right? Like literally brand new. It was a Chrysler product, and I live a few hours north of St. Louis, so we were going down to St. Louis to catch a flight to Houston to visit some family. Like I said, I was a kid. It's 1988, and drive down there. They might have even had this vehicle for a couple days, and take our flight, come home, and this is way before cell phones. We're driving back, and the motherfucker dies. My dad has no idea why it's not starting. Shows a half a tank. It was a faulty sending unit in a brand new van, right?
Oh my God.
And the only reason I remember this story, I'm going to get a little graphic here. I had to take a shit, right? So I had to go in the ditch. And the rest of my life, anytime I drove south anywhere with my dad, there would be a tree growing in the ditch somewhere. He'd be like, "Hey, that's where he took a shit. Look how big that tree is now." I'm like, "Dad."
That's awesome.
Oh, man. But yeah, brand new vehicle. Bad gas station. Or a bad sending unit.
Yeah, I'm kind of letting you guys know. Do you know who Functional Histories is?
Yes.
Dude. He's doing some work for me. If you have a vehicle you want turned into a car, a Matchbox car, holy crap. Holy cow, this guy's good over here. He's really, really good. Just saying.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Old McDonald says, "Damn, 1988, and I was almost middle aged way back then. I was 9 in 1988."
I was in middle school.
Hey, running out of gas is just a sore subject. Yes, it is. So, John, when you ran out of gas, how far did you have to walk? Where'd you have to walk?
Not bad. I was actually going well. So I've run out of gas a couple of times.
I'm getting evicted. I'll see you guys.
every 10 years, I run out of gas. So I ran out once in my buddy's tow rig, and I walked up to a hill. And there just happened to be a dude outside with his lawnmower gas can. I said, "Hey, I could get you to get me a lift to get some gas because I was in a hurry." So I ran out of gas. Well, no, I didn't. That was a bad fuel pump. I ran out a few times. Ran out my dad's Jeep here recently.
Yeah.
So maybe another 10 years, I'll do it again.
Turbo Tom says we had a newer TRX with a broken sending unit. I bet you he sees some crazy stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just the random stuff. And I mean, a brand new vehicle. Who would think? You know. Max Wedge says I got towed when a guy stole my Ranchero. It ran out of gas. He let it sit. Cops had it towed after I called and said not to. Cost $45. You know, the whole stolen car thing. Obviously, the Kia is one of the most stolen cars in America. A friend of mine, no joke, he does not live in a good neighborhood. He's lived there since he was a kid. He just refuses to move. He got his car jacked, and he doesn't give a shit about the car, right? But he's a car guy, and he's always going places and buying stuff. And he's big into automotive literature, and he always finds like the rare gems. And he found a bunch of rare gems and had them in his car. And when they recovered his car, everything was just taken. You know, they probably didn't know it was all in these boxes, but yeah, they found his car, busted window, all his shit taken. Which sucks.
Friend of mine used to work at Merchant's Tire. I don't know what it's called now. It's been bought out. It's one of those places that does tires and batteries. They had a Mustang get towed in there because it wouldn't run. Those guys diagnosed that thing for 30 minutes. My friend Ed comes in from lunch and said, "Well, do you ever see how much gas is in it?" It was bone dry. All of that diagnosing, hooking up to the OBD2 port, all of that. He puts a gallon of gas in it. It was good to go.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just got to start simple.
Dust Devil ran out on the group photo. I forgot about that.
Oh, just don't want to. Yeah. Yeah. I travel highways every day, and it amazes me at this one area where Interstate 3951 goes where I live, and then there's a loop around that's 5574. So you're basically the 55 from Chicago all the way down to New Orleans goes right there, and then 74, which is your whole East Coast thing. There's a cloverleaf right there. I'm not kidding you. You can do it like clockwork at least once a day. There's a gas station 2 miles down the road. You can see it a mile, whatever. And every day you see someone walking with a gas can. Every single day. It's pretty amazing how that works. And it's like, oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. And I ran out of gas. God, the last time I ran out of gas has been a long time. It was in a 1971 Chevy with a big block. It drank gas like you wouldn't believe, right? I always knew the gas gauge was kind of wonky, you know.
And you never really knew how much gas you had in any of those old cars. That's part of the problem.
I know. So here I am driving, right? And I'm like, oh, man, I got like half a tank of gas, you know. But I know, half a tank in a vehicle like that was just shit. And all of a sudden I go around a corner, give it some gas, and it's blah, 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 blah. And then I see the needle just go. There it went, and I'm like, shit.
There it is. The Volkswagen up until 61 had the little reserve tank pedal.
Yes.
So it didn't have a gas gauge. You just had the reserve tank pedal. It ran out. You just pushed that over and started up and get to a station.
Yep.
62 was the first year of gas gauge that thing.
Look at that. I once rode with some guys that were auto repossessors. We took a 429 Thunderbird in worst area of Detroit about 1979. That had to have been not a fun experience. You know what, though? I don't know. That sounds, for some reason, very appealing in some ways. Because I mean, I'm just thinking 1979 in Detroit. The only, I mean, on the side streets of all the cool iron that ain't worth anything at the time, what you would have seen.
Yep.
My dad's brother, my dad's brother, early on, he did repos in the 70s, late 70s, and I wasn't born yet, but that's how my dad got this one really cool truck. What would happen was my dad was a cop. Sometimes my dad would make sure at night everything was cool for him, and the vehicle would go, when we lived in town, would go in my dad's garage, right? And a guy got a truck repoed, and it was brand new. It was really nice, 4-wheel drive Ford, 4-speed V8, 77 F100, I do believe. And put it in the garage. My dad wanted it, but obviously he was young, didn't have a whole lot of money. This guy literally put half the money down on a brand new truck and never made a payment.
Can believe that.
So yeah. They had frost, Jeff Rowe. Oh shit. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty crazy how that happens. It was a neat truck, and my dad had that up until 1988. And he put a lift kit on it, loud exhaust, had the pinstriping, the typical 70s, with a big bar on the back and the lights. It was like a mini monster truck. And in 1988, man, I was what I was into, right? And I loved this truck. And this thing was like mint. So I get home from school.
The mini monster thing. I thought it was great.
So I get home from school one day, and this little freaking Ford Ranger sitting in the drive, a little 4-cylinder, 2-wheel drive truck. And I was like, Dad, where's your truck at? Oh, I traded it. I'm like, for this? It's the only grudge I hold against my dad.
Okay, so if you're going to build an 80s style mini monster, what are you going to build?
80s style mini monster.
Yeah, you can build it out of whatever you want.
Honestly, I would want to do a Toyota.
Okay. Like a Hilux?
I would. Yeah, or like the Back to the Future truck, but a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That truck was cool as shit. I always liked that truck. And those trucks ran forever.
Terrorist model, right?
It would have to be. It would have to be. Hold on. Wait. How do I shut my screen off for a second? How the fuck do you do that?
Hit stop cam at the bottom.
Stop cam. Oh, yeah. I have to put on what I would wear with my, I already got my garb for it, John.
Hey, your cam's not stopped.
It's not?
It isn't. I just figured that time right to scare you.
Okay. I'm trying to get this thing.
You think we got
I'll
him?
be right back. I'm right here, but yeah. Okay, so I'll have to put on my Toyota Hilux wear.
You think we got him?
Okay.
I think we gave him a little heart attack. What do you think?
There we go. Can I have my Hilux back? This thing actually came from Afghanistan. A friend of mine brought home for me.
Ow. Oh, you're missing the AK.
Oh. There we go. But yeah, I absolutely love those trucks.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
Turbo Tom says, how about a Ram Charger? That's another good choice.
What year, Turbo Tom? What year?
What was the Ram Charger that Chuck Norris drove in that movie and he had it supercharged? They go down to Mexico.
I don't know. There were only two body styles of Ram Charger.
Right. I remember that.
78 is what he said. Yeah, those were, yeah. Yeah, that would be a good. Now, Turbo Tom, would you run the top on it or no?
Lone Wolf McQuaid, because he got buried in it. You remember that?
Now, I might be. Doesn't ring a bell. Now, I might be less cool for this, but I can't help but think I would do about an 83 or 4 Ford. and it would look like
Oh,
Bigfoot 3.
good choice.
Yeah. And you know what
Bigfoot 3
really
is a good
actually
one.
looks really good as a mini monster is a Ranger.
Yeah, it does. It
That was a
does.
really that was a really
Here-
underrated monster truck that Bigfoot had was the Ranger, because that Ranger was 572 inches and made a ton of power. That
I
thing
can
would
see
fly.
that.
Yeah, that's the later
The
Ram truck. That's the 81 to 89.
yeah. Yeah, that was in the movie Lone Wolf McQuade. And it was supercharged, and you could turn the supercharger on with the switch, and the cartel buried him. Oh, and they thought
Mhm.
they killed him. They buried him alive, and he's in the truck, a typical '80s movie. And he's like, oh, where the steering wheel gets out, and then he kills everybody. Yeah, yeah. Old
Turbo
McDonald, he drove it out too. He did.
Turbo Tom is saying 6-inch lift with 32s. You like to have a lot of room for rock crawling or something there, don't you? You could put 32s on
Yeah,
that stock just about. It might rub a fuzz, but pretty close.
let's see here. Buried alive. Let me try something real quick. Okay. Oh, and he drinks a beer before he does it, which is hilarious. So let me present.
I like the trucks in that
Add to
movie, No
stage.
Country for Old Men.
Oh, I did too. Great movie. Here we go.
We have about a 70, 71. Click your YouTube as full screen there, Jeff.
Okay.
Freeze, assholes!
How do I do that?
Right there. Oh, yeah. Never been done. Wow.
You son of a bitch! Don't die on me now, damn it! Damn it, don't die on me now!
Give me a beer, kid.
Right on.
Get me a beer.
You know what? As wild as that is, it almost looks like a real ad Dodge would have run about that time period.
Yeah, it's funny. I like the switch for the supercharger.
Remember when truck ads were about how rugged and how much trucks could haul, and Dodge would
Yeah.
drop a truck from a story up and climbing upstairs, and trucks on the bed of trucks, and we don't
Yeah.
have truck ads like that anymore.
Or they would drop one out of the air.
Real,
Like they did that with
yeah.
the Ranger and hit
Yes.
or they don't have truck ads anymore. There's a
Dodge
truck ad
used to do
where
that all the time.
they don't have any truck ads anymore. It's like, hi.
Well, that's
I'm so
because trucks back then were marketed to men, and now trucks are marketed to men. Yeah, so that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And the funny part about it is, growing up, trucks weren't comfortable. They were cool. They were cheap.
They were trucks.
You know, they were trucks.
They weren't made to crawl a mall parking lot.
So here's a good question. What was the movie where the airplane towed
Twice.
that Corvette behind it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Neighbor also raised a CUDA. Dean Stevens, I'm a Texas Ranger 2.3. um, but yeah, it was. They always had really good truck ads. Always good truck ads. There's one, the adult, yes, the adult toys marketing of the '70s. Yeah, exactly. The Dodge did that. The adult toys marketing.
I like the Macho Power Wagons and stuff.
Yes, yes. And there was. Let me try to find this one. There was a Ford ad. Oh man, and the guy, it's freaking hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. Oh man, maybe I can't find it. I can't. I don't even know how to search for it.
Talking about. Yeah,
Where he's
functional
like,
history. I was thinking that's about 20 years before that was a thing.
here we go. It's an outtake, but let me back this up. This is freaking hilarious.
Can you believe some of the stunts you've seen in our competitors' commercials? Boy, I guess it goes to show you what years of frustration will do. Because for the last 12 years, Ford has built the best-selling truck in America, Ford F-150. Ford also builds the best-selling compact pickup, Ford Ranger. So if you want stunts, go see a movie. But if it's America's #1 trucks you want, do yourself a favor. See your local Ford dealer today.
I know that one.
Can you believe the bullshit Chevy's putting in their spots lately? Fucking A. I guess it goes to show you what years of frustration will do. Because for the last 12 years, Ford has built the best-selling truck in America, Ford F-150. Ford also builds the best-selling compact pickup, Ford Ranger. So if you want fucking stunts, see a fucking movie. But if it's America's #1 trucks you want, piss on Chevy. Go see your Ford dealer now.
That is so good.
Was that Dan Castellano from The Simpsons?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Dean, it's Canadian version. That's freaking hilarious. That's exactly freaking hilarious. Max Wedge Dick Stash. I have a funny. I I got I got a feedback coming through there. Sorry. I have a funny 70 CUDA ad posted. Mother giving son a hard time about it. Dude, there were so many of those ads. Like the chick ads were hilarious from like the Charger stuff. You know, they are fucking hilarious. Like all what they did was marketed, correctly.
Before cars were transportation appliances, we would see more cool marketing and such. We don't see that anymore. It's a shame. Cars
No.
used to be so much more important to our culture. Back when young people wanted to drive a car, as soon as they got to be 16 and sooner, cars were a more important part of our culture. It's just not that way anymore. People would trade cars every couple of years to have the newest model. Old women knew what make and model cars were when they drove by because cars were works of art and they had all the chrome, and we've given all of that away and turned cars into just functional transportation appliances that are absolute soulless plastic.
They used to have souls.
And it's just, and here we are. And it's a sad thing. I'm just glad that we live in a time where enough of that's still around that we get to enjoy it, because a generation or two from now, it's going to be really hard.
It's going to be done. So, that brings up a really valid question. And a friend of mine was asking me about it because he was asking a value on a car his dad had that they might have to sell. So our generation, John and I, we're in our 40s, we're the kids of these people. When we pass away, our generation's gone, and it's like this younger generation. Some of them care, but most of them really don't. So like what's going to happen to two questions. What's going to happen to these cars? physically. What the fuck's going to happen to them? And the other one is what are they going to be worth?
You'll have a handful of people that are interested in what's out there. I mean, prices still go up, so they will be cared for, but there won't ever be any more. And, it won't be the same.
It's going to be very different. It's going to be very different.
I clearly remember when people drove A-body Mopars as daily drivers, right? They were just used cars. Those days are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, there was a car my dad and I, when I was much younger, we bought just as a beater. So having to put miles on your good vehicle. And it was a 73 Duster slant six, total piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's just wherever, just drive around,
Right.
I don't even think the keys I don't even know if it had a key, it just started. Yeah, Max Wedge is right. You can't tell them apart now. You can't. I mean, they just look like shit,
You'll have a handful of young guys like Hunter, that generation right there. And he's in the slim minority who care.
Yes, he is.
I mean, people like to take up for young guys and all that. Fine, but realize you're talking about a much smaller percentage each generation. So yes, you can always go find the exception to the rule and talk about, there are 2 young cars. Sure there are. There's just a lot smaller percentage who care. Hunter just exactly one of them. That's why he's here. Dakota is one of them. That's what people don't get. The enthusiasm level is high. It's just under fewer people. It's not like it's the same percentage of people. They just care less.
This is true. Can you hear me, John?
That is a good thing, though.
Yeah.
I would rather have fewer people who care the same than the same number of people who care less.
Right. Well, but John, do you think any of these cars will go away? These young people, they're, they just get shit canned or whatever, parted out or sold.
Here's where it's going. You know where this is going. There will be a few that you can buy brand new. There'll be new cars. Like you can get just about an entire 69 Charger from AMD now, right?
Right.
You can get an entire Mustang body shell now. You can get an entire body shell now. I believe, is it a Nova? There are a few that you can buy reproduction, the entire body shell, which means you will be able to buy the whole thing. How much restriction will it have? Well, I don't know, but that'll be a thing in the future. And what they'll have to make them do to comply, I don't know, but
like Dust Devil, I drove my 71 Satellite to high school every day. Yeah, that's fucking cool. There was kids I grew up with. I had an 83 Celica Supra. It was cool. Everyone had a lot of cool cars. Dean makes a good, Dean says the Malaise era, what a time to enjoy them. Yeah, those things are coming back.
But the thing is that where it's really going to disappear is when there's nobody left that remembers how those cars were assembled, the pinch welds, the way the frame rails were put in and all of that stuff. And then that's where you're going to see where it's just gone. You don't have anything but museum examples and stuff. There are no driver examples anymore. And that's the future, but I don't know when that'll happen. If you think about it, each passing year we see fewer and fewer of these cars. We really do.
Oh, I know.
I could go out on the road today, and I wasn't, counting or anything, but I may not have seen a single car that the year didn't start with a 2.
Right. So. Hello, Rick Norrington. How you doing? Yeah, you're right. Okay, here's a good example. Dutch guy. Right, Dean's pointing out Dutch guy. He's got all the freaking Aspens and all that. Look how long those cars were just daily drivers, beaters with haters, and now they're very collectible.
Well, one thing that's made them more collectible is the scarcity of AB and E bodies. Let's face it, right?
Yeah,
that's what's made 4 doors more prized is the scarcity of 2 doors. But that said, I think the bigger thing with the 4-door is that young people, Generation Z, has no stigma about 4-door because they grew up with them. So they don't have any of this notion that a 2-door is cooler than a 4-door. That means nothing to them. And I think that's great.
Years ago, John, a friend of mine, he had, this is before everyone was hot rodding 4 doors a lot, and he had, it was a Chevy, I don't remember, but it had a pretty healthy small block in it. It was 4 doors. Car was originally like a 6-cylinder. And someone was giving him shit, and he looked straight at this guy, the most serious fucking thing. A car don't fucking care if it has 4 doors. And it's a valid point.
Junkyard D says, "Can you will a car not to be sold?" Well, sure you can, but I mean, once you're dead, I mean, you can't put deed restrictions on it that survive in perpetuity forever.
Right.
It'd be binding on somebody to enforce them.
So Dick says, then Salvage Racing brought out a lot of cars back out, and there's way more Max Wedge cars. That's true, but you know what? Honestly, a lot of those Max Wedge cars, I know when I go to these tracks, a lot of them are 440s with a cross ram on it. But still, it's cool as shit, you know?
Now, Junkyard D, probably the best case would be is if you made a trust and you put the car in a trust so that at least then you would have some oversight by more than one person as to its disposition. That would probably be the safest thing. That would be the level of accountability for the future of the car a museum would have, for example.
Yep. What was your first cool car you saw, John, that really hooked you?
Well, one that I can definitely say, my uncle's '69 Coronet. It was a Super B clone,
Nice.
dark green 440. That would be a good example of such. But yeah, I mean, I loved all that old stuff that was around then. When you saw them, they weren't restored. I'll put it like that.
I remember, besides trucks, because I was really big, I remember seeing my dad's dad had it was a Trans Am, a Camaro. There was a Nova around the corner from me, and it was this really cool paint job, real 70s street machine Nova. And oddly enough, that was still in the family until a couple years ago, but the LT1 that I recently built actually came out of that car. And it was, I bet it's back in the 70s, it was one of the fastest street cars around.
Max Wedge Dick Dashford says, I'm brainwashed 2-door. Yeah, that's an old guy thing. Let me tell you, my Uncle Jim is just like that. He would pass by the coolest 4 doors ever. Oh, well, that has too many. Crush it. Couldn't care less. I remember he had my 70,000 mile grandparents' 76 Fury with a 400 in it, rust free, but it was a 4-door. So just jerk that engine transmission out and flatten it. That's exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And that engine is still sitting in his garage to this day. And I offered him $1,000 for it. And no, it needs to sit here some more. So, and he had the second gear strut fall out of his Coronet clone there. So he took the transmission out, didn't know what it was, of course, and put the transmission out of that Fury in.
Damn.
But it's just the stuff people would do when everything was plentiful and they didn't know any better.
I like Dust Devil, what he says here. I think the car hobby needs more daily drivers. I think you're right. If I lived in a better climate, I think I would do that. I've always said I love old cars, and like some cars I had that were older that I used as dailies, I loved them. If I lived in a climate that didn't get this bullshit salt and shit, oh man, I would. And it would probably be a 4-door. I actually have a super clean 66 Coronet 4-door, just sitting. It has been forever. It's 273 2-barrel car. It's like baby blue. That would be a cool car to turn into a daily.
I think that Polito's got the best daily driver there is. Green 69 4-door dark slant 6. I don't think you can beat that.
Yeah. Dust Devil. Kids seeing an old car in the wild will make a car guy more than anything. I agree with that. I grew up in a rural area most of my life, and driving through the countryside, and you're like, you see a tail panel, you see something, it's like, holy crap, Rick. I remember a neighbor that had a red 67 Chevelle, tunnel ram ladder bar car. Had rat power on the corner panel. That's cool as shit.
Functional histories, that is a long way up there where Scott is.
Yes. He's way up
I
there.
mean, it would be like 2,600 miles for me to go out there.
I saw a lot of cool cars when I was a kid, and especially as I noticed when I was getting to be a teenager, it's like everyone my dad's age that had that shit was starting to buy them again when they were still somewhat affordable. I mean, my dad's Dart had a fresh 340 in it, no rust, straight car, clean, and it was like 4 grand. You know, it's cheap.
What are you trying to get other channels to do functional histories?
What do you remember your grandparents driving, John?
Well, I remember driving my grandfather's 65 Cadillac, white, four door. I remember him driving a 73 Chevrolet Caprice station wagon, which my dad wound up with. I remember him driving that Fury four door. And then later, when they got really old, about the last thing they ever drove was a white Oldsmobile, like Cutlass or station wagon or something in the 80s. That's what I remember him driving.
My grandpa had a 1977 Nova, 4 door, red and white, inline six. Auto Salvage Outlaws, a wagon. Oh, with the Dust Devil Garage. Hey, Brian, I am going to be at Indy, so I'll definitely be hooking up with you there. With the paint and coating tech there is today, how hard would it be to build a car you can drive in the salt? I don't think it's so much that. It's more of the components that
Yeah.
rust out. The frame shit, how it gets trapped and shit. There was a
Well,
car.
he's talking about doing that to it, though. I
Oh,
get it, but ultimately, in the end, that salt eats everything. It's just a matter of time.
yeah.
You
I mean,
couldn't really stop it. You can only slow it down.
like Kyle's GTO. That car is solid. Solid, solid, solid. And we decide to change out body mounts on it because we noticed some were, rubber was shit on it. We found areas in that where it mounts the frame where it was rusted, is gone. So we had to cut sections out and replate it. There's a lot of vehicles that do that. Hell, on my T-Bird, there was a spot on the box that I had to cut out and repair. Dad paid, let's see here, Dad paid about 4 grand for a 69 six-pack Super Beast. That's fucking awesome. See, that's what I really, really like when I was a teenager, I guess I was getting into stuff where it was still a working man's hobby. And, you could still get the 2 door darts. You can still find the Challengers, the six-pack cars. Yeah, the Hemi shit and like a lot of the other crazy shit was still expensive, but you could still find a good platform that was solid and complete. Try that today.
Getting harder and harder. I mean, who's your garage? They just crushed that junkyard there where he lives. Still crushing it every day.
Yep. Which is pretty sad.
Dean, are you coming to Sykeston?
I wish Dean would come to Sykeston. You got to come to Sykeston, Dean. Come on, man. I tell you what, Dean, if you come to Sykeston, I will put a camera on you and a mic, and you can be the official narrator for all the videos for 2X Garage. You can go around and just harass people. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I can't wait this year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Last 2 years have been fun. Last year was more fun than the first, so the third year obviously is going to be more fun.
Here's the book from all three right here.
That's pretty awesome.
Just sitting right here.
Yeah. it's gonna be fun. I got some ideas. Like I said, I've been really focusing on the drag here. It's going a lot slower than I thought, but it is what it is. T-Bird, like I said, get the transmission rear end, get some suspension dialed in, some tuning, and just go out there and rip it. Have fun with that. I'm looking forward to it. Like I go to a lot of different drag races and events during the year, but like this is what I look forward to going to. It's the people is what makes the event. It really does.
Without a doubt.
And without a doubt. And you can sit there and go talk to anybody. Nobody gives a shit if you win or lose. Yes, you don't want to lose, but whatever. You're still friends at the end of the day. And you talk all week long with all these people. A lot of them you text, call, whatever. Yeah, Lars is right. Dean would going around interviewing people at NNA would be epic.
Everything's great. Our burnout MC is kind of sketchy. That dude is, but everybody else. Dean Stevenson said his brother Anthony died last weekend.
Oh.
My goodness, he said some things to work through. Well,
yes.
I wish you well in getting all that taken care of and settled, and that's tough, man.
Well, sorry to hear that, Dean. Condolences your way. Dust Devil says, I think it could be a working man's hobby. I'm a working man and my car is cool as hell. That is true. Your car is absolutely cool as hell.
Yeah.
And the tunnel ram that he's got going on, he did a really good job on that. I mean, very good job on that.
Functional histories, you will be disappointed because who you're going to hear. Well, I mean, I've been on the mic, like at awards and stuff, but who you will primarily hear on the loudspeakers is going to be Ron Ward, and then our burnout MC is none other than Jeff from Two Hacks Garage.
Yes. And I like doing that. It's so much fun. And sometimes it's hard to determine who is coming up next because you can't fucking see him because of the smoke.
Oh, it's okay. We'll work on that. We had to.
No, I think it's
a little bit, but we'll work it out. It'll be great.
It's fun, but I enjoy that.
We had Kenny the Car Wrangler. We had Burnout Competition MC. And we're going to make some more logistical improvements to the Burnout Pit, but it is going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? As much as they raised the bar from year 1 to year 2 in that Burnout Pit, Jeff, I actually have reason to believe they might even top themselves this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying I'm not complaining that I couldn't see because it's freaking awesome with all that smoke.
You talk about Ron or you talk about Ed? Because as of like last week, Ed Iskandarian was still alive and he was 102.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy was old. That guy knew his shit. That guy really knew his shit.
Now I'm going to look.
Very impressive guy. Yes, I think the hippie made Cheech and Chong jealous. He did.
No, he's still kicking. Ed Iskandarian is if he makes it to July, he'll be 103.
Oh.
His son's the one who died. He outlived his son. 102. The man who gave us the term 3/4 can.
Uh-huh. Old McDonald has a point. Don't the cars in the Dean drives have the steering wheel on the wrong side of the car? So if he comes, he can learn to drive on the correct side of the road. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, Dean, if you want to go interview people, don't walk up to the wrong side of the car. we live in a country that wins wars, so we drive on the left-hand side.
Dean, I'll make you a deal. If you show up to No Name Nationals, when we go to leave Lambert's, I'll let you drive the Thunderbird back and you can rip it right off the fucking trans brake out in front.
Goodness.
Max Wedge says, I hope to make it to July. You'll be alive. Come on there, Max Wedge.
Well, let's hope you are.
I know. It'd be fun. It would be fun to have Dean there. It'd be absolutely fun to have Dean there. It would be even more fun. Dean there with a camera interviewing people. That would be. I'm telling you, it's just a hint.
So Sam Mountain Ballistics got the cam ground bar on. Well, that's cool.
Nice, nice. Jimmy's got a Jimmy back in the day when he did his speed shop shit was an Iski cam dealer, and he's got a very 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 vintage old Iski cam sign in the shop. He had some cool ads too.
Max Wedge Dick Dastardly, are you going to make it out this year? You going to jump back in the No Name 500?
Man, that'd be
Got a
awesome.
cool car. You could do some great content.
Yeah.
Start now. You can do it.
New Zealand police officers never expect a car to be left-hand drive.
Why don't you think you'll be able to make it, Hunter?
Come on, Hunter. You got to go, man.
I know Dakota's waffling.
You got to come. You got to. You got to come. There is no other choice. What's Dust Devil need?
He needs a back seat for his duster. Sorry. Well, you know what, Brian? I wonder if I knew where that was. Oh,
It
man.
isn't.
Started a new job, won't have any vacation days. Well, it's really early. So if there's a chance anybody will help you out and swap days or whatever, now would be the time to ask. You might be able to do a horse trade.
Yes. Definitely.
A wheelchair race, functional histories? Yeah, we could probably do something like that. I don't think you want to do a 660-foot wheelchair race, but
That would be a heck of a race, wouldn't it?
no, we could do something like that.
Definitely. I want to do a BYOE, bring your own engine. Hey, if you do it, that'd be interesting. That would definitely be cool as shit. Bringing your own engine. That would be interesting, wouldn't it, John?
Yeah, maybe. They don't think I can do 600. Well, you said it's a wheelchair race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, but anyway, yeah. Monkey bikes are running the 330.
Yeah.
A 60-foot race in a wheelchair would be pretty good. I know Brian wanted to do mobility scooters.
Listen to Old McDonald. What a coincidence. I need a front bench for my dart.
So do I.
I tell you what, I like that split. I like that bench I have in the T-Bird. I like bench seats. They're so freaking comfortable. Everything I've had that was a bench, I preferred much more than buckets. I mean, buckets look cool, but man, a bench seat is so comfortable.
We had a guy the first year. This is the strangest thing. We got a guy the first year. I don't know who this guy was, but he said that, yeah. And he was talking about Austin from Daddy's Money Garage. Yeah, they weren't friendly to me. And come to find out, he didn't realize, I guess, that there was video rolling all the time. No guy in a wheelchair ever went to their pit.
Huh.
I mean, it's just like from day one, there have been weird people making, saying weird stuff like that. No one in any wheelchair ever went to Daddy's Money Garage pit. We thought that was just interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
What'd they say they were complaining about, though?
Nothing. I think it was just one of those people trying to get attention saying, But you can't do that. If you're in a wheelchair, people would tend to remember you.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, when people bitch like that, doesn't that just piss you off?
Well, I don't know. There's some people like to hang around live streams. That's all they do. Not me. Segway race, yeah, that'd be interesting, I guess.
It would be. Segways, though, man, ugh.
I mean, but what? I mean, what are you really racing there?
You're not racing anything. I mean, you're erasing the Tesla of I'm a dork on two
Right.
wheels.
Tesla Racing Channel, he should come out and bring his car.
Yeah,
I'd be for that.
yeah.
Yeah, functional histories. You'll stand, but see exactly. You'll stand out, and it's like, okay, claim your place you never were. Yeah, right. No, it's a good time. We have handicap accessible restrooms, so the grounds are actually. I got to tell you, Jeffers, Skelton there at Sykeston is a good track. If you have mobility problems, you could do a lot worse. The grounds are really nice and flat there. No hills, no.
Dude, that is nice.
Yeah. Like the grass is all flat, the pits are all flat. You're flat all the way up to concessions. You're flat rolling into where the picnic table area is. There's not a single step on that property except going into the tower.
Yeah,
Not the rest.
I like that.
Anything. So
what's the size of the?
Nothing.
What's the acreage of that place? Was that like? Is it 22 acres?
22 acres, I want to say.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I bet there's how much elevation change from one side of that place to the other. You think? I bet it's not 5 feet the entire.
I don't think it's 5 feet. It's flat as hell.
I bet there's not one topo ring on the map for that track.
Oh, that place is. I like that place. The pits are great. I like the facilities. It's pretty neat. It's actually pretty neat. I like one thing I really do like about it. I like I said, I go a lot of drag racing. I like the fact how the pits are paved. I really do.
Yeah, mostly paved pits is an uncommonly nice thing to have.
Very uncommon.
Like
it's very uncommon. It's
we
very.
have a lot of things you don't normally have in tracks that size.
Oh, I know.
I mean, between paved pits, the saloon, 1,300 feet of shutdown. We have that huge burnout pit, a world-class announcer. There's a lot of things that track has that you just don't normally find in tracks that size.
No, you don't. Okay, I'm going to be calling this in about 9 minutes. I'm just checking my work calendar, and I got a 7 a.m. work meeting. It's almost midnight here.
Cut into your Spudlin tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much. It's Friday. It's definitely Friday. It's just gonna be one of those things. Hey, here's a question for you. Hey, John, do us a favor tomorrow and stand close enough to the groundhog so he sees your shadow.
Punxsutawney Phil or General Beauregard. There's a few differences. I guess Punxsutawney Phil's the OG.
Okay, I'm going through my work calendar now. It's like, tomorrow is Groundhog's Day, and that is by far one of the funniest movies, by far.
Yeah,
it's sick and it's kind of twisted because he finds all the different ways to kill himself. That's kind of dark humor, but I think it's hilarious. The restaurant scenes are just hilarious.
Do you remember what the old ladies with a flat tire were driving in that movie, Jeff?
No.
A 68 two-door Dodge Dart.
No shit. I did not remember that.
Go back and watch it.
Max Wedge Dick Dastardly has a set of low back bucket seats from an old moped. I'll probably give them away.
Sure, people will jump all over that.
Those are great seats too. Absolutely great seats. The one scene in that whole movie is freaking hilarious. So, but when he starts claiming he's a god and all that, that I just die laughing. I'll probably watch that tomorrow while I'm working. But yeah. Here's some good advice for you. Sand Mountain, have an anxiety attack on Thursday. Get a doctor to write up a puppy prescription on Monday, and they can fire you. Done deal. And they can't fire you. Done deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, it is late. I'm going to make a video showing like what I did for a YouTube studio. I just wanted to, it's called the Burnout Box. That's what it's called for this. My friend Kenny, great guy. And
Kenny the car wrangler?
Kenny the car wrangler. That was his first drag race. No, I took him to his first drag race this summer, but that was like the first event. He was the official Mad Dog Ken Kirby, the official car hauler and car wrangler. I was like, guys, I need to come up with a name for this. And there were some really derogatory ones that you can't call it. And he's like, call it the Burnout Box. And it is a box. It's a 10 by 10 box. I'm like, that's perfect.
Will Kenny be car wrangling at the No Name Nationals this year?
He will be. And I think he'll be car wrangling Rowdy to John Copes, too. Okay. It's funny. His nickname's Mad Dog, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, like Mad Dog, like he's just gruff. Well, he is. But when he was very young, we lived in a small town, and he had a really rowdy older brother, like really rowdy older brother that would just beat the shit out. I mean, how old? Yeah, but this guy was, just rowdy. And he would make Kenny go down the local grocery store and pocket thief bottles of MD 2020 for him, or he'd kick his ass. So his nickname since he's a kid is Mad Dog. But he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Hey, he did a great job. He did a great job when I met him. I thought it was pretty cool. It was fun.
Dude, I'm telling you, like that guy, man, he loves it. Like the car stuff, he doesn't have an old car. He had a really cool Ford LTD when we were younger. The thing wouldn't die. Like I've never seen a transmission take so much abuse in my life. And but it was absolute. Seriously, the fish hook burnout.
That's coming from Jeff.
The fish hook burnouts in reverse as fast as you can into low gear. Constant.
You're talking about the guy that burned up a C6 in 54 miles. I mean,
I know. So, but I mean, this guy is just a great guy, and yeah, I seriously, like, I remember one time, it was his mom's car, but she never drove it, and we would do like seriously fish hook burnouts, just ditch hop this thing, and he was talking about, yeah, we better go fry these tires off. My dad's getting new ones on it soon. Let's get rid of the rest of it on it. We're on this road. It is as fast as you can, reverse, wham, right into fucking low gear. And I mean, fish hook burnouts. And we stopped and he cut it. He's like, let's check him out. And he cuts his hand on the cords, right?
Ooh.
And then I noticed something like color on the tire and looked at the front. His dad already got the tires replaced. They were the brand new ones.
Well, I'm gonna roll out since you can get.
I am too.
And in 19 hours and 1 minute, I'm going to be live with the clock recipients of years past. That'll be a fun live.
Everybody tune into John's live tomorrow. I will see Yep. So everyone, thanks for joining, and we will see you next Thursday. I'll make sure it's earlier. Life got in the way tonight, but I'll make sure probably 8:30, 9 o'clock Central. From there, thanks to John for joining, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thanks for the invite.
Later.
We're out.